Bolsonaro sentenced in Brazil coup plot. Former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro has been sentenced to 27 years in prison for orchestrating a coup attempt after losing the 2022 election. According to the New York Times, Brazil's Supreme Court found that Bolsonaro and his inner circle sought to annul election results, dissolve the courts, empower the military, and even plotted to assassinate President-elect Luiz Lula da Silva. 4 of the 5 justices voted to convict Bolsonaro and 7 allies, including his defense minister and Navy commander. Justice Alexandre Moraes said that evidence showed Brazil had come dangerously close to a dictatorship because of a political group that doesn't know how to lose an election. The conviction makes Bolsonaro ineligible to run for office again and represents the first time Brazil has criminally punished leaders of a coup plot. While Bolsonaro denies involvement, this ruling is being hailed as a landmark moment for Brazilian democracy, and I might add for democracy worldwide as well. Okay, what's the real message here? The message is there are some places in the world that still respect democracy. Congratulations, Brazil. You have a president who doesn't respect democracy, tries to stay in office by forming a coup. He gets punished for it, exactly as he should. He gets banished from ever holding government office again, exactly as it should. I'm wondering if there's another quasi-democracy that could learn from this. Okay, let's dig a little deeper here. What does this really mean? It's frankly humiliating and embarrassing to America when they are put to shame by Brazil teaching us how to conduct a democracy. Yes, when you have somebody who refuses to play by the rules, who foments insurrection, who says, I don't care what the voters say, I'm going to do what I want, that's a huge, huge problem. And it deserves punishment. It doesn't deserve to be swept under the rug. So I have to congratulate Brazil for what they're doing here, especially given the fact that the current administration in Washington has threatened to punish Brazil for simply following their own laws, for enforcing laws within their country. It's extraordinarily unprecedented what this administration has tried to do to coerce Brazil into letting this criminal off easy. I mean, that's exactly what's happened. Let's look at a few more of the facts. Bolsonaro sentenced to 27 years in prison. The court found that he was guilty of scheming to create a coup and plotting to assassinate the rightfully elected president. 4 justices voted to convict. Bolsonaro's own allies also found him guilty. If you're thinking, wow, this sure sounds familiar, where have I heard something like this before? You're right. You're not crazy. It happened right here in the United States, only with very different outcomes. Here, we've seen a complete erosion of the rule of law. So a lot of people who claim they believed in the rule of law and justice and the Constitution have said, okay, it just doesn't apply to someone we like, which of course is the very definition of not the rule of law, not democracy, not stability, but that's the rule of autocracy. That's the rule of mobism. And that, unfortunately, is what we have. Now, both the similarities are overwhelming. Both spread widespread fraud allegations once it became obvious that they did not win enough votes. Both encouraged mobs to storm their respective capitals. Both leaders of each of these countries sought the military to stay in power. But only one country ultimately did the responsible thing and held every person accountable, regardless of how popular they were, regardless of the political rank they had and their title they had. So this really is a lesson for the world, and especially a lesson for the United States. If you believe in democracy, you have to enforce laws uniformly. It just doesn't matter if you are a former president. You don't get a get-out-of-jail-free card. You don't get to trample on constitutional provisions. You don't get to simply invalidate election results because you don't like them. And if you do that, especially if you foment a coup, spread disinformation, try to assassinate people, you deserve to go to prison. So I want to really say hats off to Brazil, government of Brazil, the legal system and political system of Brazil for not buckling under the pressure of Bolsonaro's minions and henchmen. But even more impressively, they're not buckling under the pressure of the current administration in the United States, which is attempting to coerce this country into essentially ending their democracy, because that's what the administration in Washington, D.C. has done, is saying, we're going to give you more and more penalties, more and more tariffs, unless you take your Constitution, treat it like an old Kleenex, tear it up, ball it up, and throw it in the garbage can. That's what the government of the United States is asking Brazil to do, and they're not doing it, at least right now. So I want to really congratulate Brazilians for at least somebody in North and South America still believes in democracy and the rule of law.